Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's little look is this bronzy gold smoky eye with a nude lip. So please subscribe to my channel, like my video, and if you want to see how I achieved this look, then let's keep on watching. Alrighty, let's jump right into the video. So for primer, we're going to use the NYX First Base Primer to get some hydration going on our face. Jumping right into foundation, we're going to use the L'Oreal Pro Glow in shade 204. It's a little dark for me right now, so I went ahead and grabbed some of the Wet n Wild Photo Finish foundation and mixed these two to find the perfect color. Mixing these two gives you such a flawless look and that glow within. It looks like I'm applying a lot, but the foundation is super lightweight and I want that medium to full coverage look, so it really isn't. Plus, I'm going to go back in after I buff it with a brush and grab my beauty blender and just pick up any excess product. So I'm taking one of my favorite buffing brushes from Real Techniques to just go ahead and distribute the foundation all over the face, get an even base going. And then, like I said, I use my Real Techniques sponge or a beauty blender just to go over that and pick up any excess foundation that I might have on my face. And it's also going to leave a smooth layer, making sure everything's nice and pressed into the skin. Alright, let's jump right into concealer. So for concealer, we're going to use our Maybelline Fit Me in the shade Fair. I love this concealer. It's one of my favorite ones. I'm going to go ahead and put this underneath my eyes for the dark circles, on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow, and on my chin. I'll also use this as an eyeshadow primer and make sure that we get that set and prepped. I love grabbing a damp beauty blender to evenly blend that out and make sure all the highlighted and brightened areas that I want on my face are taken care of. So sometimes you'll get creasing underneath your eyes and you just want to make sure you go back under there and check, and if it is, just reblend it again without adding any excess powder or any excess concealer. That way you can avoid cakiness. After I do that, I'm going to grab an amazing affordable powder, which is the Colby AirSpun, to do a little bit of baking. So I'll put that underneath the eyes. If I want to go for that full coverage look, I will grab that damp Real Techniques sponge and just set my whole face with that powder and that sponge. So you would think that doing this with a damp beauty blender and putting powder on your face wouldn't work, but it actually works way better. I feel like it presses the powder more into the skin, giving it that more natural finish look. So I'll go ahead and do that all over the face. I do like to grab one of my fluffier Real Techniques brushes. It's a little bit bigger, and just wipe away any excess powder to make sure that we have just enough, as much as we need, and we're not overdoing it with the powder on the face. Into the brows, I guess you can say I was gifted with some decent brows. I don't really do much to them. I'll usually just brush them and sometimes fill it in a little bit with a pencil just to do the sparse areas, and then I will set it with some CoverGirl gel just so they can stay in place and there's not hair flying everywhere. So yeah, all I do is pretty much just trim them around, but they're dark and full naturally. So sometimes I'll go swimming or I'm in the water or whatever, and they're like, what products do you use for your eyebrows to keep them on all day? And I'm like, well, nothing, they're naturally like that. So I guess you could say I'm lucky. Alright, let's jump in with the eye look. I will be using a lot of warm tone colors and I will be using this Morphe palette. I will link down what kind of palette it is, and I also am using some of their brushes. They're super fluffy and soft, and I am using a shimmer little eyeshadow from my Ipsy bag that I got as well. So I am taking a soft brown color and I'm putting that all over the lid, taking it a little bit higher. This is going to be my transition shade, so I have a smooth transition effect from the lightest color to the darkest color of the lid, and everything just looks soft and blended. So we just blend, blend, blend. If you're blending until your hand is cramping, then that means your eye is gonna come out looking super pretty. So keep blending. I'm gonna grab a little bit of a darker brown and put that on the outside crease, taking it semi-high but not all the way to the top like the first transition color, and then not all the way into the middle of the lid. So I'm just keeping it on the outer V and then blending that with a Morphe brush as well. And I will take another clean brush after I add some product with this white one. I'll take a clean one and just blend out any harsh lines just to make sure everything looks nice and smooth. After I have worked on the top eyes or on the top lids, I will grab the same colors that I used on the top lids and just smudge out the lower lash line. It's just gonna tie the look together and make sure everything looks complementary to each other, and it's gonna look so much nicer. So make sure you're blending with the same colors. I'll usually add and pack the color on the bottom lash line, and then I'll take a little bit of a bigger, not too big, a little bit of a bigger brush just to kind of smooth and buff that out, just to give it that nice soft effect as well. And I also want to make sure that I'm tying the bottom color around to the crease color so everything looks smooth and like it belongs together. So making sure that there's no harsh lines to have that pretty effect of the transition shade with all the other colors that we're incorporating. Now I am taking that shimmery shade that I showed in the little circle shadow, and I am applying that with a flat brush. I did wet the brush a little bit with some of the primer just for the color to give it a little bit more of a pop. Excuse the strong lighting that comes in and out. So I am wetting the brush and just applying that, and after I applied the shimmer, I'll go back in with a clean brush just to keep blending and make sure that there's no harsh lines between the shimmer and the matte colors. And now we're gonna go ahead and just curl the lashes before we add some mascara. So when I curl them and then add mascara and then curl them again, I feel like they get lengthier and look more voluminous. And the mascara that I'm going to use is the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. I love the wand. It's super skinny and it just really gets into your bottom lashes, and I feel like they don't clump them up. So love that mascara. Also a drugstore one. It is now time for some bronzer. This butter bronzer from Real Technique smells so good. It smells just like coconut, so if you like how that coconut smell, you're gonna love this one. I am taking a small blending brush from e.l.f. and I'm just gonna contour my nose a little bit, making sure I'm not going too harsh. So they do have a regular shade and a light shade, and I always go in with a light because I feel like that's the color that best works for me. Now I'm gonna go in with this small little elf brush to just go in and bronze the rest of my face. I'm gonna go ahead and just bronze and not really contour. That's if I want to carve out more of the cheekbones, but with today's look I just want to give my skin some more color around the face. So we're just gonna take it around the cheekbones, above the forehead, around the temples, and a little bit down the jawline, just to give it some shadow and hide that double chin. Keeping it moving, we're going to go in with some blush. This is one of my favorite from Milani. It's the shade Luminoso. The little brush that fell out I never used. I always use my own applicators, so we're just going to toss that away. I'm going to lightly pat that on the cheek, taking it a little bit to the back and almost around the temple, just so it doesn't look so harsh and it's a smooth effect all the way through my face. And I am using a e.l.f. blush brush to go ahead and apply this. You want to have a really light hand. You don't want to overdo it. You can always add a little bit more and a little bit more until you get that consistency you want. But if you add too much, it's going to be a little bit harder to try to clean up. So just start light and then keep working it up. Alright, my favorite part, highlighters. So today we're going to be using two. We're going to be using Milani in shade 1 called Afterglow, and we're going to be using the Wet n Wild in Precious Petals. I also am picking up my ABH brush. I have some affordable ones too for brushes, but I couldn't find them, so I grabbed the one that was right off closest to me. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Milani one, and I'm gonna put that right on top of my cheekbones, just on the highlighted parts of my face that I want to glow, and then taking it around a little bit to my temples as well. I am going to go into this Wet n Wild contour palette just to use some of this banana color shade underneath my eyes, just to brighten it up a little bit more. I am using a e.l.f. blush brush as well. It is a different one that I use just for this, just to give it some more brightness underneath there. And then, because you can never have enough highlighter, I'm picking up the Precious Petals and just going over the Milani one. I'm putting some down the bridge of my nose, on the tip of my nose, a little bit on my cupid's bow, and then again on the high points of my face, using the same brush. You can never have enough highlighter, so once you're done highlighting for 3 days, you'll be set to go. And just to set everything in place, we're going to use some of this hard candy setting spray, lock everything in place, and then adding some black eyeliner on the waterline just to give the eye look a little bit more of a pop. And then we are good to go. I am using a L'Oreal eyeliner. I'm also going to use a NYX matte lippy to just go ahead and apply. It's between a nude and a brown color, which is so pretty. I love the applicator on this. Yep, but besides that, the look is all set. There you guys have it, a smoky gold eye with a nude semi-brownish lip color, and we're good to go. I hope you guys like it. Please subscribe and like this video. Let me know what you want to see next, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.